So since I'm sitting at my desk and I have a little bit of time, and you may notice I'm back in Boston for the week. I just played the New England Oireachtas for Irish dancers, and then I have a wedding for an Irish dancing family here in Boston on Saturday. So instead of going back to Cleveland and then coming home to Boston again, I thought it would just be as well to reoccupy my old room and write. So I'm writing my dissertation. I just finished chapter 4 today. I've got one more left. I'm going gangbusters, folks. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to do a tutorial on the tune St. Patrick's Day. So St. Patrick's Day is a traditional set, and I'm not going to teach a breakdown of the video as I normally would, like all the pieces parts. I just want to show how it gets played with a metronome, because that's part of this new series. I'm going to play the tune in the key of G, which means F's are sharp and C's are natural. And I'm going to play it the way the dancers would dance it. So, at a session, you sit down and you belt out the A part twice and the B part twice in the typical tune, or the A part once, the B part once, if that's the way it's written. For a lot of what we call the set dances, dances that are set to a particular piece of music, there's kind of a formula for how you have to play them. And the first one, the one that the baby beginners will dance, the first of their traditional sets often, is called St. Patrick's Day. And we're going to play the first part 3 times, and then the second part is only played once. So they get an intro, then they do the right foot of the dance, they do the left foot of the dance, and then they do what's called the set. So it comes in 3 movements, the right foot, left foot, set. And then you would repeat the tune, right foot, left foot, set. So if more kids were to keep coming, that's a point of finesse. All we need to work on right now is the tune itself. So I've got my old friend, the metronome. I'm going to set it to 94 beats per minute. And it sounds like an odd tune. I don't make it up. It's the Irish who do it. I just do what I'm told. And I'm going to play the first part 3 times, the second part once. So the tune is St. Patrick's Day. It's up on the session. I'm playing the version in G, but you can play it in the key of A, you can play it in the key of F. I mean, you can do it whatever you want to do, as long as you're playing the tune. It doesn't matter. It's kind of cool. I mean, you may notice it. I know it's a church hymn on St. Patrick's Day of this last year in 2017. They sang it at Mass. Who knew? Oh, I didn't until then. So here we go. So again, got this beeping, and I can hear it. 1, 2, ready, go. It's telling me when to go. 1, 2, ready, go. And then, I mean, if there were a line of dancers, you would just keep going through the line, and it would work. So, and again, remember, the point of this little series that I'm trying to do is just to get you acquainted with playing with the metronome, to demonstrate something of the traditional sets, and to dispel like the mystery, if there is any, or fear of playing for the dancers. It's really enjoyable. And I know there can be a stigma about people who play for Irish dancing competitions. I know in some, there are some, they would consider themselves traditional musicians, and they want to distinguish fesh musicians. I simply don't buy that distinction. I think it's a vile and crass way of looking at distinguishing musicians. It is an art. It's a different skill set, of course, to sit and have the discipline to play for Irish dancers for a long day. But we're all working towards furthering our Irish culture, Irish music and dancing heritage. And so the idea of that Irish musicians who play at Festina are lesser somehow, I don't see that. In fact, I can think of quite a few of the best piano, accordion, piano, and fiddle players I know who are very committed to playing for dancers. So I just hold that out. There's a little apology. I'll tell you one more time, St. Patrick's Day. If you're interested, if you've stayed on this long, good for you. So, again, you can hear the beep. And then I'm not a lilter, I don't sing, but and so the foot is tapping with that beep. I mean, the beep, the chirp, is just telling you when to hit your foot. And this is, again, just such good discipline if you want to have steady, rhythmic playing. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. 2, ready, go. There you go. You get 2 for the price of 1. But if you're interested, North American Fesh Commission, NAFC, is the governing body that's helping to put this all together. You can check them out. You can write me directly. It's ryanduns@gmail.com, and you're always welcome to write. And let me know if I can be of help. Take care.